there, it's Old Woman. Welcome back to my channel. Tonight we're going to be doing something a little different. We're not actually leaving home to go on an adventure. We're going to have one right here in my kitchen. We're going to be cooking in the Instant Pot. I've got my vintage apron on from the 1960s, and I'm bringing it into the 21st century, and we're ready to cook. Here's our baby InstantPot. It's become my new best friend. It's the smallest of the InstantPots, and we bought it for when we're out camping in our travel trailer. But I love some of the recipes so much that I use it a lot at home. We're going to be cooking for just two tonight, so I'm going to divide my pasta. So I don't want to make a whole pound of pasta. I just want to make a half a pound. Plus, really, that's all that can fit in the Instant Pot. So I've got my food scale. I'm going to turn it on and weigh out 8 ounces of pasta. So I have it set to ounces. I'm gonna put my container on the scale, zero it out, and then try to get 8 ounces of beautiful little elbows. $7.9. Oh, 8.1. Let me take a few back. There we go, 8 ounces of pasta. So we'll save this for another day. So first thing we're gonna do is cook the ground beef. We've got the InstantPot plugged in, and we're going to set the saute feature here, saute. And I usually like to turn it on for about 10 minutes. I might not use that whole saute time, but I've got it if I need it. I don't have to restart. So we started saute, and it's on and ready to go. We're gonna add the ground beef. Gonna break the meat up and let it brown. Okay, it's really coming up to temperature now, and it's starting to cook the meat. So I like to hold on to the edge of the InstantPot with a pot holder so that I can hold the inner pot still while I break up the ground beef a little bit more. Sometimes I'll even set a pot lid over it a little bit just to keep the heat in there, and it helps the meat cook just a little bit faster. It's almost there. The ground beef is getting nice and brown. So I'm gonna call this, and I am going to hit the button on front that says cancel. Okay, we're here for a minute. We're gonna take the InstantPot, the inner pot out, set it on a pot holder. And I'm gonna put this lid from my other pot set over, and I'm gonna get a firm grip on it, leaving a little space to pour out the fat. So there we go. Okay, then the inner pot's going back in. I know. Okay, now it's time to add the sauce and the spices. Now, one thing I didn't mention is there's a a fill line here on your InstantPot. You don't want to go over that, because if you do, when the InstantPot gets to pressure, it will spray tomato sauce all over your kitchen. So mind the fill line. We're gonna add a little bit of water and do what they call deglazing the bottom of the InstantPot. So I'm gonna turn on saute again, just for a little bit, not for 10 minutes. I'm gonna go down to like 2. Probably won't even need that much. And I'm just going to, usually I don't get a lot of burnt stuff on the bottom of my InstantPot when I make this spaghetti recipe. I'm just going to scrape the bottom and make sure there's nothing down there. Okay, so I'm pretty much scraped it pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead with the spices and the tomatoes. Now you can use regular jarred tomato sauce already prepared, jarred tomato spaghetti sauce. Today I'm using diced tomatoes and tomato sauce, just 1 can of each, because that's about all this baby InstantPot can handle. The other thing you can do, if you're using jarred sauce, you can add a little bit of your water into the jar and rinse it out, because you've got to add at least 2 cups of water after you add total 2 cups of water to this recipe. So by the time I add my pasta, I'm usually down to a cup and a half that I add on top of the pasta, but that's yet to come. So now we got to spice this up, because we're not doing a prepared sauce. So I've got some onion powder. I've got some garlic. Oh, I'm gonna need a new bottle of garlic. Okay, let me add this in. And basil leaves. A little bit of basil. A little bit of black pepper. A little bit of salt. And a little bit of paprika. So then I'm gonna mix this all up. You know what, I think a little more garlic. Can't ever have too much garlic. Okay, now for the final 2 layers is the pasta and the water. I like to use elbows in this recipe. I haven't had much luck with using the long spaghetti in the InstantPot. Mine gets clumpy and stuck together when it's done. And anyway, elbows are old man's favorite, so that's what we're doing tonight. So we're gonna add our pasta, sprinkle it around. 8 ounces. And then we're going to add the rest of our water, being careful not to pass that fill line. Now don't stir. Everything has to sit the way it is. We're gonna seal up our pot, making sure that our vent is sealed. And we're gonna set the timer. I always make sure my vent spout is not too close to my cabinets for when it starts to do the release. Okay, so we're going to do pressure cook 10 minutes. So it's going to turn on, and then it's going to come to pressure, and then it's going to cook under pressure for 10 minutes. Okay, it's cooking. We're at 7 minutes. Okay, we've got 1 minute left. We're counting down. Then we're going to do a quick pressure release. There it is. We should have pasta. Delicious elbow pasta. Okay, we're going to come up here, and there's the switch for the valve. We're just gonna do it a little bit at a time. Just gently at first. Okay, then I'm gonna let it go full. Slowly the pressure is released. Okay, you'll hear the little valve click, and that will let you know that the pressure has been released. So then we're going to go ahead and cancel it. That turns the InstantPot off. I'm going to go over and unplug it. And then I'm going to open the top. Set this over here on a hot pad. And here is the delicious elbow pasta. So we're gonna stir it up so we get the meat all through the pasta. It's nice. Elbows are nice and tender. There's lots of meat. Get a bowl. And here's the finished product. Well, I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you'll try it. And remember, wherever you go, whatever you do, leave that place better than the way you found it. Bye for now.